Good morning. Happy Monday. It's Jane from Chalk Mercantile and Surface Anthology. I'm early today. It is not even 10 o'clock here yet. Number one, in Connecticut, we're getting some powerful storms. So I don't want to be trying to show you guys something and then have lightning striking. Plus, I'm completely phobic about lightning. So I'm grabbing my link here. By the way, this is the number if you'd like to join my text group, and you will get a notification of me when I go live. If I have any, like a new blog post, if I'm having any promotions, anything like that. So that's it. That went out. So now I can close my computer and focus. But 860-385-6369. I promise not to inundate your phone with text messages. I don't go on late. I am a morning person for sure. So I won't be, you won't be getting texts from me at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night that I'm going live. And, you know, I don't want to throw any shade on the night owls. I am not one. Since I was a kid, the morning is it for me. I'm in bed by 9. Hey, Debbie, good morning. Thanks for joining. Good to see you. Good to see you on this Monday. So 860-385-6369. That's that. And my Surface Anthology membership is open. If you're interested in decorative painting for furniture, floors, doors, ornaments like we're going to be doing today with some really cool colors, go to surfaceanthology.com, click on the membership. You'll see everything that's included. It's $23 a month, and you can join there. So now I am going to be painting this little ornament. So last week we made this one, and I just love it. It's very pale, very white, very wintry, right? I did wrap, like I said, I cut the ends of all these little doodads and I wrapped them up in this hem, I think that it's hem seam binding, right? That I really love. And it's great. It's got the glitter and everything, but now I want to do something with some rich reds and a pink here. So this is how I look at my colors, by the way. I'll take my little sample pots and I just start, I put my other ones away, but I'll put them all together like this and look at those colors together. You know, I've got like a cool true red, ruby, which is a pinky magenta kind of color. And then this is flamingo, and it's definitely like a flamingo pink. And I actually had to make a little plan for this one. So I used my project planner, and I really do use these, honestly, because if I put this together and I go, oh, wow, I want to do a piece of furniture now in that finish, I have everything I used here on my planner. So the first thing I did is I did glue on molds. And remember, these are molds that I had made. They were extras. And I found a way to cut the molds. I used a putty knife. I needed to cut in to make these shorter for this roof line. So I just used a putty knife. I put it on my table and I pressed the putty knife right in, you know, to these little seams. And it worked really well. But if you're doing a piece of furniture or something and you need it for it to be accurate, I would tell you to glue it on wet. And remember, you have to account for the shrinking. So anyway, I glued these all on with my Tite Bond. I glued on a bee, of course. And here's the back. I used one of the little, I think this is from the Rosettes mold, Laurel mold, Rosettes mold. I just put those on and just, you know, they look pretty, right? And I pulled out these. These are these little spun cotton buds. By the way, somewhere I got an entire bag of these for $1.49. I cannot tell you. It could have been Goodwill, a closeout, I don't know. But I am going to use these. These are the real spun cotton ones, just like I did here, but I'm going to paint them. And this spun cotton paints really, really nicely. So I'm gonna paint one in each one of these colors. And then during the week, the next step that I wanna do, and I wrote it down, is I'm gonna paint the whole thing, paint those little cotton buds, and then I wanna do some gold leafing. So this is gonna be very, very warm. Do some gold leafing, and then finally put on some glitter. And I'm not sure which glitter yet. And I don't have any more clay. I'm expecting that because I would have made a little bird here to go on because there is a little perch there, right? So that would have looked really cute. So I have a bee instead. All right, so I pulled out my 3 buds. I've got some water here, and I'm just using artist brushes. These are pretty much down to the bottom, my little jars, so I'm just gonna work right out of them. Right, fabulous red. I didn't even mix it, but, and look at that. That's the flamingo. And this is ruby, right? Really cool colors. Very saturated, these two for sure, right? The passion red and the ruby. You can see there's a little bit of white in that flamingo. So I think I'm gonna start, I don't know, I'm just gonna start on a side. Oh, and I have my spray bottle, my mister, in case I wanna, mist, blend, reactivate the paint. This is all Authentico chalk paint, vintage, so I can reactivate it if I want to do that. So I'm just going to take my artist brush, give it a little, wet it down just a little bit, and then just start painting. And I think I'm going to start from the top, and I want to do the flamingo up at the top. And if you don't want to get any paint on the tie here, the hanger, just put some painter's tape on that, right around the base. I think this is going to be covered with my little buds and whatever I decide to put on there. So I'm just blobbing this on. And I'm really kind of laying it on. And the same thing for the molds. And you don't need a lot of paint for this. This is a great way to use up any leftover paints. And it's also a great way to come up with a blending palette, plan for a piece of furniture. As you do a small project like this, and it can't be beat. It's like doing a thumbnail. Now this is gonna dry really fast because this is raw wood and raw molds. Remember, the molds are air dry clay, so they're made from paper. And they are absorbent. So I'm just going around here. There goes the phone. I forgot to turn off the ringer. Okay. And now, and I'm hitting it right in the front like that. So I want to see some of that. And you have to move pretty quickly. And move around to the back. And then I'm just going to rinse this. I pulled out all my artist brushes, but I think I'm going to just use this one. Now I'm just going to start adding in another color. And if you watched my video, let me move these over, on the little Trumeau mirror, you see how I blended those colors. But I'm literally just, you know, tapping that in. And I'm not choosing very contrasty colors to blend on purpose. I just want to have some rich kind of variations on red and pink. I mean, you can go from green up to red, right? But look at how saturated that is. I just love these colors. Okay. And you could just pull your brush up, stipple up into your previous color. And working with chalk paint like this is like working with gouache, because chalk paint is a water-based paint. The ones that don't have a top coat, those are the, you know, they're the most, you can manipulate those paints the most. When it has a top coat, it behaves differently. But gouache is just opaque watercolor, semi-opaque watercolor. Okay, I'm just coming around here. And this is a lot of fun, I have to tell you. And the key for me to a really beautiful finish is definitely the layering and the building up of colors. That is my thing. All right, I just want to make sure I get all the way around. And now the last color. Rinse out my brush and grab, oh God, I dropped something. I broke something off and dropped, oh yep, it was a little end to my mold and dropped it in. So let's lift that out. And you know I can always glue that back on. Okay. I'm just gonna mix this up. Don't ever do this with a new can of paint or a paint that you're gonna use for another project, because that is just mixing in a lot of stuff there. So like I always say, do as I say, not as I do. All right, down here, I'm just adding this. I love this color, Passion Red. And now we're bringing in a cool color, right? Adding that to our pinks. And this is gonna get hard as I'm gonna leave two little areas for my fingers so you can see. And yeah, you see a lot of texture because of the way I'm putting it on. That is, a lot of that's gonna go away when it dries, because that's gonna get absorbed. All that moisture is gonna get absorbed right into the wood. Let's bring a little bit of that up. Hey, Joni, what's going on? Joni, look, I'm on early today. Joni is from Weathered Wings. As I know a lot of you know that because you're faithful followers. But we're working on our Trello boards, right? Trying to organize our time a little bit better. And I took Joni and I and Tammy of Flippin' Furniture took Melanie Ferguson's, oh my God, help me out here, Joni, Creatives on Fire, her challenge, her kind of planning challenge. And my energy is in the morning, you guys. This is when I have my most energy. And when I'm live, that's when I want to use that energy. I don't, I don't want to be all like, oh, here we go, guys. Or trying to push myself and make myself miserable, So that's what we did. And Joni, did you find that you're going to be rescheduling a lot of what you do? Look at how cool that is, right? I'm going to dry this so you can see the paint flatten out a little bit. And I have to get this area painted. Now, when you're drying at home, hey, Shannon. Shannon brought her sunshine and flowers today. Good to see you. When you're using the blow dryer, don't use it over the open containers of paint either. You'll get that like pudding skin on top. This is also when you see all the little places that you missed. But I'm going to move my fingers here a little bit and just finish these corners. And right on the back here, or on the side. Now, you'll also see the areas that maybe are a little bit transparent, like right there, that you want to go back in with some color. And I'm just tapping in some of this bright, really true red onto my pinks. And yeah, this is going to be subtle. This isn't going to be like some real clear-cut separation between the colors. But that's exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. Just going to roll this over and move it around. Make sure you've got everything. And I definitely missed some areas here inside of this rosettes mold for sure. All right. Oh, now I'm going to grab some more of my pink and just hit it again. If you wanted to, you could mist this, right? You could mist it and kind of blend this out a little bit. Hey, Janet. Good morning. Aren't these colors great? I just love these colors. Why don't I use more of these in my home? I don't know. I'm afraid of them. By the way, it's an ornament, so we have to do the bottom. So let me get that. Let's hit all of that. And I see little spaces I didn't get. So I'm just going to put this down. Look at how cute that is. Boy, is that a complete difference, right? From the white. It's really amazing. All right, so I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to put some more pink in. Now you can really manipulate the paint with your blow dryer, right? You can make it kind of get little cracks. So you have to know about that before you go to dry something. Because otherwise, if you don't want that, you're going to be sanding. I'm going to push this a little bit. So let's get some more. I definitely want more opaque, the flamingo. Like, I want it more solid. So I'm just going to go in, grab this again, get those spots I didn't get in the first pass. And yep, I'm kind of, you know, doing a little pointillism here, you know, as I blend down. This is, you know, these little projects are just so much fun to experiment with. So don't get all nervous. Just let your brush do its thing. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Debbie's saying it's pretty. This is getting, Joni's asking if this is getting glitter glass or German glass glitter. Now I'm saying it like you, Joni. I have a plan. I used my planner because I'm going to be doing, after this, Wednesday we're going to be doing gold leafing because I want to add some gold. It's got to have some bling here, right, especially on that bee. And then I'm going to do the German glass glitter, Joni. So for sure, it has to, any ornament I make has to have glitter. Joni's laughing. Shannon's asking, is this a special type of paint or will any work? Shannon, I'm going to tell you to use a water-based paint, and this is chalk paint with no built-in top coat, because I can reactivate this if I want. I could spray it with some water and reactivate it, you know, for blending, when I blend like this. So I would, for when I'm doing these decorative kind of finishes, I almost always use chalk paint or milk paint. Milk paint is wonderful for that. And I also tend to be a purist. I like natural forms of paint and wax. I don't like to use a lot of plastics. So I stick with the, you know, manipulative type paints, and that's chalk paint, anything, you know, a chalk paint brand that doesn't have a built-in top coat. And I use it for when I'm doing a technique like this, okay? But you can definitely try with other ones. I think you just have to be really fast, right? You don't have time to, you're not going to spray a latex paint and make it wet again, right? And I learned that in art school when we were working with acrylics. You know, that's plastic. You cannot reactivate an acrylic paint. I can with watercolor, though it kills the freshness of watercolor. I can do it with oil. You know, oil paint's open for days, right? But milk paint is beautiful, right, Shannon? I love milk paint. And chalk paint, a real true chalk paint. These paints, chalk paint, by the way, Annie Sloan did not invent chalk paint. She trademarked the name chalk paint. It was actually her distributor that did that. And it was very smart. Chalk paint's been around for 2,000 or more years, just like milk paint, any kind of paint, you know, oil paints, plaster paints, you know, lime, L-I-M-E paints, and I work with that a lot. So it's been around forever, and we people would mix anything. When you see those beautiful cave paintings in France, they would mix blood into clay and put their handprint on, all kinds of things. They would, you know, mix pigments into milk, right? Milk paint. So I love all that. I love all that natural kind of stuff. All right, so I'm going to hit this, and then I'm going to grab some more of that ruby. What's happening is, you see how there's like, you could see through it a little bit, and that looks kind of cool, but I want it a little bit more opaque. So I'm washing my brush, get that ruby, and I'm just going to go in there again. And I'm just tapping. And if you wanted to, you could spray this and have it all kind of flow down. You can do some really cool effects. And I think this is a really great way to test out techniques that you're going to use on a big piece of furniture or a wall or something like that for sure. All right, I'm just moving it around. And if you were going to do a bunch of these, you just line them up, right? And just have a nice time experimenting. They'll all be unique. They'll all be different, which is such a nice thing, I think. All right, like that. Definitely get behind. All right, definitely need to work right back here. And the more you blend, the better it looks, I think. Okay, and then right in this middle point. Oops, wrong color. Okay, now I contaminated my colors. So I'm gonna have to use them for a bunch of little ones like this. I'll make a bunch of little ornaments. All right, let me put that down in case I want to use it again. So there it is, right? Really pretty. I just love, love, love this technique. Hey, Cynthia. Oh, Cynthia, you're so sweet. She says, I just love your videos. Well, that makes me happy. Look at how pretty that is. So, Cynthia, I hope you continue to watch this because it is going to go from being, you know, these would actually be beautiful, a bunch of just matte ornaments like this. Imagine that around a tree with a bunch of little fairy lights, just matte colors. You can do them in red and, you know, pink, red, and green, and add them all. Hey, Barb. Oh, it's got to be early out there. Thanks for joining. So, Barb, what I did is I'm painting this in 3 different colors: flamingo, ruby, and passion red. And I'm going to be putting some gold leaf on Wednesday. So I'm going to be gold leafing. Don't miss that because a lot of people ask me about that and it's so easy. And then I'm going to be doing, ooh, I almost forgot my little buds here. We have to paint things. And then I'm going to be doing glitter. Joni's asked me if I'm going to put glitter on it. And you know it, Joni. I have to. Now, these are the little spun cotton buds. So I'm just going to paint these just like this. And when you do this, and when you're working on a piece like this, put a piece of wax paper next to you so you could lay your pieces down to dry and not worry about them sticking. But look at how nicely these paint up. And I can do the stems too. Just like that. I will be cutting off the end. Okay, so that's flamingo. I do not have a piece of wax paper down, so hopefully it won't be too bad. Let me rinse my brush. And then we'll do a passion red. Oh, Cynthia, thank you so much. Cynthia says, I've learned so much from you as a beginner. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's why we do this, right, Joni? Teach people and teach them not to be afraid, because the biggest issue, I think, is fear. I used to teach drawing at the School of Visual Arts. That's where I went to school, art school. And I used to see those students sitting there. We'd have the nude models, right? And they would sit there with that white page in front of them, and they were afraid to make that first mark. And I would just come over and make a mark on her pad. And I'm like, okay, I made the first mark. Now let's do some drawing, right? Oh, and Barb is saying she's really into birdhouses. Barb, do you think I am too? I have made more birdhouse projects. I love them. I love, love, love them. All right. And you might need, wait to see your little buds dry or whatever you're using. You might need to do another coat, a second coat, so that it's super saturated. All right, what last color do I have here? I think I did, yes, I need ruby. So these little projects that I teach, Cynthia, and, or I'm not really teaching it. Well, I'm showing you, right? Teaching it. They're little projects that you're not going to freak out if you wreck it or if it doesn't come out like you want it to. And the more you're able to move your brush around and move the paint around, the braver you're going to be, the more confident you're going to be. And then you can move on to furniture, and you might be already painting furniture, but you might be staying safe. And this way you get new techniques, you get them under your belt. You could do a little end table. Trust me, I've done furniture blending like this and it looks great. And I'm not so afraid because I've already done it on a little project, right? Excuse me, my allergies. Look, Joni knows everybody, right? Isn't Joni great, you guys? And Joni's right now making this amazing tray that Joni, I have to tell you, I have a bunch of those silver trays. And some of them are so badly scratched and such a wreck. I'm like, I got to do that for sure. Oh, Barb, thank you. You just made my day. Barb said, watching you and learning things from you make my day. Oh, I'm so glad. I guess it's like when I used to watch, back in the day, I remember when I was pregnant with my twins, I was on strict bed rest. Then I was in the hospital for over 3 months, you guys. And I would watch Bob Ross, and then there was this crafting woman on PBS, and I think her name was Carol. And I would watch them, and then the cooking shows, of course, Julia Childs. But Bob Ross, like I would watch him, and it would be so calming and also very comforting. Like I knew I was going to see him on this day at this time, and it was part of my routine. Oh, Shannon is saying, I remember those art classes in art school. I was late that day and walked in to see the nude model. You turned around and walked back out. And the teacher came out to tell you you were in the correct place. Shannon, you had a nice teacher. I'll tell you, my nickname was the Dragon Lady. And let me tell you, I started teaching at 19. I was still a student. And I would make my students be there because when you have a nude model, it's, we want to be very respectful. This person is sharing themselves with you, right? And I said, if you're going to walk in late, don't walk in at all because, it opens the door and exposes the model to everybody, whatever. So I would make students leave for the day. But Shannon, if you have never seen a nude person standing there, it is surprising. Especially I remember when I was a freshman, I was 17, and it was always mostly guys, mostly men in these classes, young men, and they were all just, they didn't know where to look, right? And then you get so used to it. I call nudity the great equalizer, right? It's so great, and to me, it's my absolute favorite thing. That's what I did. I drew and I painted nudes. I don't think there's anything better than that for sure. But Shannon, you're right. It's like I can just see you going in and you do that like that GIF or GIF of the little girl who just turns around and heads right out. I don't think I could ever be a nude model, but I know, Joni, I was brutal. I was bad. Like, because I figure, if I was standing up there nude, right, I wouldn't want people talking or whatever. I want them, I'm there to do something and I'm showing, it's not just your face, it's your whole body, right? And it's a really hard job. So as an artist myself, I have the greatest respect for those models, those people. And Shannon is saying it was the best class to take. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think, and this is where you're going to hear my very opinionated side, because I taught for years. And one of my favorite examples is Picasso. If you look at Picasso's drawings when he was 12, 13, they were brilliant. He drew his parents. Van Gogh had to learn. He realized when he was painting, my paintings suck. I need to go learn how to draw. You have to be able to draw the figure. You have to, before you can go on to abstract it or do anything else. And I think that 99.9% of people can do that, right? And when you get over that, you're embarrassed or whatever, you just look at the body and you realize it really humbles you, right, to draw the figure. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more you see, right? I don't know. I think it's fabulous. I do. I love it. You could see how I could talk about it for hours. And now I'm painting birdhouses, right? But anyway, you guys, I am going to, and let me show you these 3 adorable. I mean, look at how sweet. And what a different look from, make sure I don't have paint, from these, right? You see them in there, the white ones? So this is going to have a completely different look. And this is another reason I'm doing this, because sometimes people will see a technique and they see it in bright colors and go, oh my God, I'm never going to do that. It's too bright. It's just too like this. And they confuse the look with the technique, right? You learn a technique, you could do it in bright, bold colors, or say I did this in earth tones, right? Really beautiful muted colors, but it's the same technique, right? So once you get that technique under your belt and you're confident, you can do it in different colors, blues. We could do summer birdhouses, right? And really cool colors, or yellows and oranges. So I just love pointing that out, because a lot of people don't get that. Sometimes I don't get it. I'll look at something and go, I don't think, I would ever do that. And then I realize, wait a minute, if I chose different colors and made it my own, I would love it. And then I do, right? So definitely experiment. Everybody, I'm going to wait for this to dry now. And I might add a little bit when you see, right, like those light patches, I might go in with a little bit more of my dark red down there, my passion red, and let this really, really dry. And then I'm going to meet you back here on Wednesday, and we're going to do some gold leafing, and maybe we'll even get on to glittering that day. And I might think of some other little techniques in the meantime. So Shannon, Barb, Joni, Cynthia, who else joined me today? Debbie, Janet, I am so happy to see you bright and early and bushy-tailed on Monday morning. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful start to your week. And think about your projects, right? Write them down. You can even use these project planners that I love to share with you guys to write your ideas down. And you can take your brush, right? This is another thing I want to show you really quickly. And you can put the colors you're thinking about using right on your page, and then label each one of those little color swatches. And you'll always have that, right? You'll always have that there, so you'll know exactly what you used and what they looked like. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a great Monday, and I will see you on Wednesday. Happy painting.